There are certain things you expect from a father: a shoulder to cry on, bad jokes at dinner, maybe a little embarrassment when he dances at your wedding. What you don't expect is to wake up on a cloud. Literally, you open your eyes, you're not in a bed, you're on a floating marble platform overlooking the entire Mediterranean. Eagles circle overhead. In the distance, someone is forging lightning bolts. There's a faint smell of ambrosia and regret. You sit up. You remember yesterday? You remember yesterday? Your father turned into a swan. For reasons? Your brother was born from his thigh. Your sister is a goddess of wisdom and she won't stop correcting your grammar. And your father, the king of the gods, just told you that today is bring your kid to work day. On Olympus, you look around. There are temples, golden thrones, a giant eagle that keeps staring at you like your lunch. And somewhere in the main hall, your dad Zeus is probably turning into something inappropriate again. This is your life. This is what happens when your father is the god of thunder, the king of Olympus, and a man who has never once said no to any impulse that crossed his mind. Welcome to being Zeus's kid. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. Breakfast on Olympus is not a meal. It's a spectacle. You walk into the great hall. The table is made of pure marble, so long that the far end disappears into clouds. Golden plates float in midair. Servants, actual nymphs, rush around. With trays of food that glows, your father sits at the head. He's wearing a white robe and a laurel crown. His beard is magnificent. His muscles are magnificent. Everything about him is magnificent, and he knows it. He's also staring at a cloud formation that looks slightly like a mortal woman. You sit down. The nymphs bring you a plate on it. Grapes, cheese, and what appears to be pure sunlight in a bowl.
You book it, it bugs back. Father, you say he doesn't respond. He's still looking at the cloud. Father, nothing. You throw a grape at him. It bounces off his chest. He finally looks at you. Ah, my child, he says. Which one are you? You've been alive for 20 years. He still doesn't know your name. You suspect he cycles through them randomly. Yesterday he called you Ares, and you're definitely not the god of war. I am your son, you say. Excellent. Which one? You sigh. The one who's not a god. He squints. We have those? You nod slowly. He seems to process this information, then immediately loses interest. A nymph whispers something in his ear. His eyes light up. He stands, lightning crackling around his fingers. Duty calls, he announces, and transforms into a golden bull. You watch him fly off into the clouds. Breakfast is over. You've been here 15 minutes. If you think your dad is complicated, wait until you meet your siblings. There are a lot of them. You've lost count. Every time you think you've met everyone, another one appears. They come from different mothers, different centuries, and different species. One of your brothers is a horse. A literal horse. He's also immortal and very opinionated about stable conditions. Athena is there, sitting at the table with a scroll, looking at you with that expression she always has, like she's about to explain why your logic is flawed. Father left again, you say. Of course, she says without looking up. He saw a cloud that reminded him of a mortal woman from Thebes. He'll be back in a few hours, possibly as a different animal. Your other brother, Hermes, zips past at supersonic speed, drops off a package, and is gone before you can blink.
He's the messenger of the gods, sir. He's also the god of thieves, travelers, and probably ADHD heirs. The god of war is sharpening a spear in the corner. He glares at you. You've never done anything to him, but he glares at everyone. It's his thing. And then there's Dionysus. He's drunk. He's always drunk. He offers you some wine from a golden chalice. You decline. He shrugs and drinks both portions. Family dinner is tonight. Athena announces. Father promised he would attend. The table goes quiet. Everyone knows what that means. Family dinners on Olympus are legendary, not in a good way. The last one ended with a goat on the throne and Heir refusing to speak to anyone for 3 centuries. The one before that, your father accidentally turned the chef into a constellation. The chef is still there. If you look up at night, you can see him. He's not happy about it. You prepare for tonight. You put on your best tunic. You try to remember which fork is for ambrosia and which is for nectar. There are 17 forks. You still don't know. The hall fills. Gods, demigods, heroes, and at least 3 beings that no one can identify. Your father arrives in a chariot pulled by eagles. He looks magnificent. He always looks magnificent. It's exhausting. Dinner begins. For the first hour, it's almost normal. People eat. People talk. Someone makes a joke about Prometheus. Everyone laughs. Even Hades cracks a smile, which is rare. He's usually brooding. Then your father stands up. He has an announcement. I've decided. He says to name my next child after myself. Everyone freezes, but there's already a Zeus. Someone points out. Now there will be 2. Hera's goblet cracks in her hand. You can feel the temperature drop.
The clouds outside turned dark. You named the child after yourself last month. Hera says quietly. The goat! That was different. This one will be better. It's a fish, Zeus. You turned a fish into your son. A very talented fish. Hera stands. The table trembles. Lightning flashes. You grab your plate and duck. By the time the storm clears, the fish is now the god of the Atlantic Ocean, and Hera has retreated to her chambers. Your father shrugs and returns to his meal. Family, he says, as if that explains everything. You don't go to regular school. You have tutors. The best tutors in history. Aristotle taught you philosophy. He was great, but he kept asking why you existed, and you didn't have a good answer. Archimedes tried to teach you math, but he got distracted when he figured out how to set Roman ships on fire with mirrors. Your current tutor is Socrates. He refuses to teach anything. He just asks questions until you question your own existence. Are you really Zeus's son? He asks today. I think so. How do you know? He turned into a swan once. In front of me, swans are not typically paternal. Perhaps you are adopted. You stare at him. He stares back. He's been doing this for 3 weeks. You're starting to question everything. Your identity, your purpose. Whether this is actually education or just a very elaborate form of torture, your other lessons are more practical. Apollo teaches you archery. He's annoyingly good at it. He also writes poetry about your failures, which he performs at Olympus's open mic nights. The muses love it. You don't. Hermes taught you how to steal. You're not sure why that was on the curriculum, but you can now lift anything from anyone, which is helpful when your dad takes your stuff and turns it into a constellation. Athena tries to teach you strategy. You are terrible at it. Every plan you make has at least 3 holes. She sighs a lot. It's not your fault, she says once. Your father's genes are chaotic. You have famous siblings? Everyone knows about Heracles. 12 labors, killed the Nemean lion, strongest man alive. Hero of heroes. It's also exhausting. Every family gathering, he challenges someone to an arm wrestling contest. He's never lost. Last time, he broke the table. The table was made of solid gold and enchanted by Hephaestus. It didn't matter. Then there's Helen of Troy. Yes, that Helen, the one whose face launched 1,000 ships. She's your half-sister. She's also the reason you can't go to certain parties anymore. You caused the Trojan War. You say to her once, I had a beautiful face, she says. It's not my fault people fought over it. You left your husband. He was boring. You can't argue with that logic. You've met Menelaus. He was boring. Perseus is your other half-brother. He cut off Medusa's head. He's very proud of it. He keeps the head in a bag and shows it to guests. You've learned not to look. And then there's the ones you don't talk about. The ones who didn't work out. The children who were born from unusual circumstances and didn't survive. Your father has a lot of regrets. He doesn't talk about them. You've learned not to ask the worst part about being Zeus's son. You're mortal. Your siblings are gods. They're immortal. They can't die. They've been alive for millennia and will be alive for millennia more. They play chess with the fates. They drink with the Furies. They think death is a minor inconvenience. You, on the other hand, are going to die someday, maybe soon. You're not sure. Your father hasn't really explained it. You've asked several times. Father, what happens when I die? He looked at you strangely. Why would you die? Because I am mortal. Oh, right, the mortal ones. He thought about it for a moment. You could see him calculating. The god of gods, processing the fact that his child has an expiration date, probably Elysium. He said finally,
if you are good, or asphodel if you're boring. Don't be boring. That was it. That was the entire conversation. You have no idea what's required to get into Elysium. You suspect it involves slaying monsters or founding cities. You haven't done either. You mostly just survive. Your mother, whoever she was mortal. You don't remember her. Zeus doesn't talk about her. You've tried to find her. You've asked Athena. She knows but won't say, "It's better this way." She tells you. You're not sure what that means. You're not sure you want to know. Here's a prophecy about your father. Everyone knows it. He will be overthrown by one of his children, just like he overthrew his father, Kronos. Just like Kronos overthrew his father, Ouranos. It's a family tradition. Regicide. It's what you do. You've thought about it. Of course you have. When your father turns into a bull and forgets your name. When he names a fish after himself. When he spends more time on clouds than with his own family. You've thought about it, but you are mortal. You can't overthrow a god. You can't even beat him at chess. He always cheats. Still your siblings watch you. Ares with his spear. Athena with her strategy. Apollo with his prophecies. They're waiting. They're wondering if you're the one. You're not. You're not. You just wanted to remember your name. Maybe come to one of your birthdays. Maybe not turn into a swan during family photos, but the prophecy hangs there like a storm cloud over Olympus, waiting it's your birthday. You're 23 or maybe 24. Time moves differently on Olympus. A day can be a year. A year can be a minute. You've been here for what feels like a decade, and also just a few months. There's a celebration. Of course there is. Your father loves celebrations. He'll use any excuse to throw a feast. The hall is decorated. Flowers from Persephone's garden. Wine from Dionysus's personal stores. Music from Apollo and the Muses. It's beautiful. It's overwhelming. It's also incredibly awkward because half the guests don't know who you are. Whose birthday is it? Someone asks. Zeus's mortal child. Someone answers. Which one? No one knows your father arrives. He's in a good mood. He's been in a good mood since he turned into a golden shower last week. You don't ask. He stands before you. The hall goes quiet. Even the muses stop playing. My child, he says, today we celebrate you. He raises his hand. Lightning crackles. A crown appears above your head. It's made of stars. Actual stars pulled from the sky. You're not sure what to say. This is the most attention he's paid you in years. Thank you, Father. He nods. For a moment, he looks almost proud. Then he turns to the crowd and announces there will be a contest. The winner gets to marry a minor goddess he's been meaning to get rid of. The party continues. You stand in the corner with your star crown, watching. Your father drinks with Dionysus, Heir, and Apollo en whistle. Athena lectures Hermes about something. You'll hear. Point of this, but you're not really part of it. Later, you walk outside. The stars are bright. You can see constellations up here. Actual constellations up here. Actual constellations. The ones your father made, there's Orion. He was a hunter. Your father liked him. There's Callisto. She was a nymph. Your father turned her into a bear. Then a constellation. There's Ganymede. He was a cupbearer. Your father liked him a lot. You wonder if one day you'll be up there. A constellation. A memory. A story that people tell their children. Your father appears beside you. He's not in animal form for once. He's just high, your father. Old, tired, but king of the gods. But somehow small in the darkness. You're thinking about it, he says. About what? About whether you matter. You don't answer. You don't have to. He looks up at the stars. At his mistakes, his loves, his children, his regrets. You do, he says quietly. You all do. He doesn't say anything else. He doesn't have to. For a moment, you're not a mortal child of an immortal god. You're just a son and his father, standing under the same stars. It doesn't fix anything. He'll still turn into a swan tomorrow. He'll still forget your name. There will still be prophecies and wars and family dinners that end in thunder. But for now, you have this. So here's the question. Would you want to be Zeus's child? Immortal siblings who ignore you. A father who turns into animals for fun, family dinners that threaten the fabric of reality, and the constant knowledge that your entire existence is just another story in an endless cycle of chaos? Or does your normal mortal, profoundly undivine life suddenly seem a little more peaceful? Drop a comment. What's the weirdest thing your dad has done? I'll start. Mine once turned into a bull and named a fish after himself.